Hey guys, thanks for listening to the Spiritual Grind. We hope you enjoy it, and don't forget to follow, hit the little bell for your notifications when the podcast is posted, and follow, and share with your friends. We hope you enjoy it. Leave a comment if there's any topics that you want us to speak about.
Like, follow, share.
Thank you very much, Dr. Jenny. Well, thank you all for tuning into the show today. We're back to the studio. It's actually Christmas Day. We're recording a podcast on Christmas for you guys, and we hope you all had an awesome time with your family and friends.
Yeah.
And celebrate this societal Todd holiday.
Merry Christmas. Happy holidays.
Give away all your gifts and go in debt for 4 months. No, we're just kidding. Hey, we hope you really enjoyed it. Hey, I'm just repeating my history because that's how Christmas always went.
Yikes.
I'm just playing.
Mine went a little differently, actually.
Yeah, you had a good Christmas.
I planned for my Christmases.
Oh, you did?
Yeah. I put money back. It was all strategic. And I was one of those that would shop. In January, I began looking for specific items for the kids and stuff.
You mean the stuff that when they opened their presents and they were disappointed because they didn't get, so you made sure and got it?
Mine weren't disappointed.
Oh, okay. That's good.
I thought about mine. It was a very methodical.
Oh, I know you're very methodical about a lot of things.
It was very planned out.
That's that nurse in you.
The Christmases were themed based on a vacation we were going to take that year.
Wow, that's
it was a whole thought out thing. If we were going to the beach that summer for our family vacation, then part of their Christmas was new beach towels, new beach toys.
That's way too deep.
And then some of their Christmas was things they asked for.
That's deep. That's pretty extravagant.
And I planned out how much each thing cost, and then I put the money back, and then we did the whole Black Christmas where, you...
Black Friday?
Yeah. What'd I say?
What is a Black Christmas?
Black Friday.
Black Friday shopping?
Yeah.
I would say, I thought maybe there was a new kind of Christmas I didn't know about.
There may be.
Well, anyway, so what'd you get for Christmas?
I got a new cello.
A new cello? Oh.
Yeah.
Cool.
We decided to embark upon a new adventure.
We did.
Which is to do
a musical
We're
instrument.
always embark upon a new adventure, trying to do something we haven't done before.
Yes.
That's always how we kind of just live life. Either go somewhere we haven't gone before, or learn something we haven't learned before.
Like we're going in March to the Mayan ruins.
Yeah, for sure.
That's cool. That's already booked. I'm excited.
Yeah, doing a little cruise.
Which actually is a great segue into my topic.
What did you get for Christmas?
I got an electric guitar.
Yeah, so we decided we were going to go on a journey. It was my turn.
No, it was kind of, it
was my turn to decide.
Yeah.
After our bowling extravaganza, it was kind of my turn to decide. And I said, I think I'm going to learn how to play the cello. And you were like, okay. And here we go, off to the music store.
That's actually what she said is I think my new adventure is going to be, I want to learn how to play the cello.
Yeah.
And I was like, hey, that sounds like a great adventure. So off to the music store we went.
Off to the music store we went.
Bought cellos and lessons and electric guitars and books and all sorts of things.
Yep, we did.
I've already played my first song.
He has. He is ahead of me.
Oh. She had to trim her fingernails off so she could play the cello.
Had to lose the fake nails. Now they're chopped down to like little hooves.
Little hooves. That's her hooves. Well, anyway, it's a great segue into the topic of the day for me.
Okay.
So I was telling one of the people at our employment what we had decided to do for Christmas. And she said, the response was, "Gosh, is there anything you don't do?" And I was like, "What? You mean we live?"
Right.
You know, we have free enough energy in our reality that we're not scared to go try things, even in our 50s. We don't care.
Are we 50?
We are in our 50s.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I know, right?
Golly gee, man.
We're in the bottom part of our 50s, but we're in there.
I still feel like I'm in my 20s.
Yeah, I know, right?
On the inside.
Yeah, I agree.
I feel like we act like we're still in our 20s.
And she said, so the response was, she was like, "Well, I mean, at what point are you going to slow down?"
Never.
I was like, "Never." I said, it's not that we do a lot.
The only thing that's going to hold us back, man, is 6 foot of dirt.
Yeah, I know, right? I was like, it's not that we do a lot. It's just you all have been taught to not do anything. Yeah, I mean, once a year or once in a lifetime, you go learn something, you go to college.
Right.
Why stop?
Right. Exactly.
I mean, we choose to live. We don't choose to sit around and wait.
Right.
And so the whole conversation got into this topic of fear. And she was like, "Oh, I could never learn to play the cello. I could never learn the guitar. I'm too old."
Wow.
And so that's where the topic went to.
That's crazy.
And I was like, "So you're scared to fail? What's going to happen? What's the worst thing that could happen if you failed trying to learn to play the guitar?"
I know. Pick me, pick me. One of those rubber mallets like whack-a-mole is going to come down and whack her on the head.
I know, right? I'm just like... And so our conversation rolled into fear. And I'm not going to lie. Like last night I performed for people. I actually played a song in front of a public audience last night. And I remember I just got this on Saturday. It is now Wednesday. I didn't play it until Sunday. I learned my first song on Monday. And it's an easy Christmas song. It's not like an elaborate song. It's
what is it?
Silent Night.
Yeah.
And so I played Silent Night last night, and I'm sure our social media person will put it up on our social media. But
I think that putting it up, though, shows everybody, don't forget to just get out there.
Yeah, just live.
Get out there and live. It doesn't matter. We create our own mental limitations.
That's right. And that's exactly where it went to, was the fear. I said, you realize that your own fear of failing is causing you from having expansion and learning something new.
Right.
And being who you want to be. Because we are taught in society to not follow our ambitions for some reason. You know, we get taught it's weird if you want to ride a bicycle at 30. That's not one of those fancy bicycles where you're in this club and you're got a whole bunch of old people and y'all wearing tight, weird pants.
And funny hats.
And funny hats, and you're flying down the side of some back road somewhere in a club. So it's weird if you ride bicycles any other way when you're an adult.
Right.
And if you just want to go get on a BMX and ride around, then that guy's weird. Like I watched a video on YouTube of a guy that's 50 years old that's just learning how to compete in BMX, that fancy BMX riding.
Yeah.
And all the comments below it was like, "Yeah, he's too old. He's not going to make it. He can't do it. Oh my God, look, this is ridiculous." You know, one of them was like, "Man, somebody get him a bottle of Geritol and show him where his place is in his recliner." I was like, that's ridiculous. Why do people do that?
I know it is. It's crazy.
And
it's crazy the programming that is going on inside people's heads, that they've been taught that at a certain age, life has to look
right
a certain way.
Right. You know, like she said to me, "Oh, I just couldn't do it. I mean, I don't think I have the ability anymore. I'm too old." Well,
wow.
Yeah, you keep telling yourself that.
Of course.
I mean, and I've asked her like 3 or 4 times, what is the worst thing that could happen?
Yeah. And what'd she say?
She was like, she just couldn't come up with an answer.
Yeah.
She was so shell-shocked that I actually said that to her.
Yeah.
And it falls back on fear. They're scared of failing, or they're scared of being looked at differently.
Right.
And all that is all restriction.
Yeah. That's called them esteem.
Them esteem?
Yeah.
Okay, what does that explain?
Well, it's the opposite of self-esteem. You're not building your own self-esteem by looking at yourself and analyzing yourself and allowing yourself room to expand and grow because you're so busy building the esteem based on what them thinks.
Oh, what you think that they want you to look like.
Or what you think they think you think they think you think. They think you look
And there's
like.
a whole lot of thinking going on.
Way too much.
It's somewhere in there. I think you said stink. I'm not sure. They think you stink. You think you might think stink. I don't know. But
Can we get some deodorant in here? There's a lot of stinking going on.
yeah, and you're totally right. Like she's like, oh my God, my son would give me such a hard time. I was like, pick up a guitar, go play it. She's like, because she said, I've always wanted to learn to play a musical instrument.
Do it.
Then why don't you?
Right. You're not getting any younger.
My son would make so much fun of me, and then I'd be too embarrassed to play in front of other people. And I'm like, don't play in front of anybody. Just go around knowing that you have the confidence that you learned it.
And the self-satisfaction.
Yeah.
That's right.
Have fun with it.
Yeah.
And so that's where my topic is today.
Okay. Where do you want to take it?
I want to take it to the spot of why we accept, as you call it, them esteem.
Yeah.
Instead of doing what we do or doing what we want to do when we want to do it.
Right.
And what causes us to think what everybody else thinks of us is more important than what we think of ourselves.
Yeah. This is one of those rabbit hole twisted pretzel concepts.
Yeah, it can be.
Yeah. No, it is. Get your carrot sandwiches, folks.
So where I wanted to start with it is because there was a part of me when we went to the music store was like,
yeah,
dang, can I do this at my age?
Yeah, I will say that when we went to the music store,
and we were the oldest people in there, by the way.
I did not even recognize that. I went in knowing I want to play the cello. I went in, I got down to business. I made my decisions. I selected my equipment. I can't even tell you who was in the store.
Mm-hmm.
I was on an agenda, a personal mission. He showed me 2 instruments. I chose them. I asked, okay, what other pieces and components do I need with it? He told me. I made my decisions, and I checked out, and boom, I was done.
Yep.
I look up, and you're still wandering around.
Well, I was torn.
I was torn. What are you doing? And you're like, I can't decide if I want this instrument or that, or
you want me to tell you the truth?
And you were still wandering around, like not committing to one or the other. And
I was kind of torn because I was debating on the drums or the electric guitar or an acoustic guitar, just a guitar, period. And because my son played the drums, he got lessons when he was younger, and I enjoyed beating around on them. And there was a part of me that said, maybe I should play the drums because I'm old and I have, they have this societal fear in me of, can I play the guitar? Can I stay in rhythm? Can my fingers even move that way anymore?
Oh, so you were having to kind of,
I was debating,
I was working through some things. That age belief that.
Yes. And then the guy behind the counter came around and he said, hey, let me show you these drums. And he took me in that little back room.
Yeah.
And he took his hat off and I realized, damn, he's old. He was like, I'm like,
why did he not have any hair under his head?
He had a stocking cap on and he didn't look that old until he pulled his head off, his hat off, and he took his glasses off.
Until he pulled his head out.
But or else I just opened my eyes. Maybe, I don't know. But we're in the back room and he takes his stocking cap and his sunglasses off, and I was like, oh, I'm like, how old are you, man? And he said he was 65 or 66. How long have you been playing? Oh, about 10 years. I'm like, oh, okay. Thank you. Because I wanted to play the guitar.
Yeah.
That's what I wanted to do.
All right.
I mean, I want to learn both, but the more important one would be the guitar for me. So
let me share with everybody the rest of the story. We'll probably end up with both.
Oh, I'm sure.
Because I had the harebrained idea that we are going to get rid of all of our furniture and make the living room into a music studio.
Yes, editor, you heard it right. She is giving away that Cindy Crawford at home edition white leather couch and recliner.
And the coffee table.
And the coffee table and end tables.
Listen, I decided if I can get rid of all the furniture and make the living room a kickbox field for the kids when they were young.
A kickball, you mean?
Yeah, kickball.
Yeah.
I can definitely get rid of the furniture now and make my living room into a music studio.
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
We don't really sit in there.
No, we don't
really use that space
We're
for
normally
sitting.
either in our bed in the studio or on the patio.
Yeah.
That's all we don't. Well, I mean, what maybe twice in the last year we've sat in the living room and watched a movie.
Right. Yeah.
Everything else we watch the movie in the bed.
Right.
Or we go to Cinema Bistro, which is awesome, by the way.
Yes.
Hyde Park.
Up in Hyde Park.
Yeah, their food is good.
Their food is off the chain.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
Consistently, that's the thing.
Yeah.
Is that we've been multiple times, and every time without fail, no matter what we order, it's just spot on.
Speaking of that, the movie Wicked. What a disappointment that was.
I mean, are we supposed to be talking about that kind of stuff?
We can talk about anything we want.
We can?
We're copyrighted.
Oh. Yeah. I'll agree with you. I was disappointed. It was a musical, and we knew that.
There was parts of it that was good, but man, the musical part, they were saying it just to random weird places.
Yeah.
And then it's
but
a
don't
part
give
one.
it away because there's people that haven't seen it.
No. There's a part one, and
don't give it away.
it's crazy. Anyway, on a 1 to 10 scale, it was a 4 for me.
Yeah, definitely. If I knew then what I know now, I would wait for it to come out on
Netflix.
my TV and just watch it in my bed.
Yeah.
But the food was great.
The food was awesome.
The food was amazing. So
I totally agree. Cinema Bistro is the way to go.
Yeah.
It's not like the normal
popcorn and all that.
Cinemax where you go and eat. But the food is actually fine dining food at a movie theater. It's really...
Yeah, the first time we went, I actually had a butternut squash. What did they call it?
I don't remember.
A butternut squash, some French word. Pizarro.
Oh.
Something.
Oh, pizzao.
And it was...
Pizzano or pizzadillo? What was that? I don't remember.
It was really good. It was butternut squash, and it had a little bit, some sprigs of microgreens on the top with a hint of jalapeno. So you got a little bit of the afterburn. And
yeah. It was good stuff.
It was good.
I personally prefer either the grilled chicken Caesar salad, which is completely not what you think in a grilled chicken Caesar salad. It's not a typical one. It's actually real Caesar dressing, anchovies, the whole shebang. Yeah,
every time we go, he comments on how good the Caesar dressing is.
And then last couple of times I've got the shrimp pasta.
Yeah.
Which is really good too.
I was going to say, if he orders the same thing again, it's because it is good.
Yes,
you have to remember, he has a chef background. So if he orders something more than once, then...
it's good.
It definitely has several stars by it.
We're way off base here.
We are.
And I do have like 175,000 restaurant review followers.
Yeah.
On Google. That's crazy.
Yeah.
But
anyway.
So back on topic.
Here we go.
So, the fear. So we were talking about them esteem and differentiating ourselves and what holds us back and why do we allow that to happen. So that's your cue, doctor.
That's my cue.
It is.
Well, so there's a pre-rabbit hole concept.
Okay.
And then there's a rabbit hole concept. So we are taught...
Wait a minute. I didn't finish my story.
Oh, okay.
I just thought of that. We left him hanging on the music store story. And so I go in the back room.
Wow, we're all over the place tonight.
Well, yeah. It's been kind of a crazy couple of days, but actually, it's been pretty fun. Actually, I've had a really fun since I've got my guitar. It's been fun. I find my free time.
We have fun a lot of the time.
Yeah, I agree.
We do.
But anyway, so I go in the back room with this guy, and he takes his hat off.
Right.
And then he takes sunglasses off. I'm like, oh, how old are you? And I think he said 65 or 66 or whatever. I'm like, how long have you been playing the drums? He said, 10 years. And he's good. I mean, he can play. He said, I do it all the time. He's got 3 sets of drums. He's got a set in his garage. He's got a portable set he takes with him. That's always in his car. And then he has his main set that's in his extra bedroom in his house. And he goes to beating on these drums. And just doing a great job. Great beats. He's good. He's showing me all his tricks and just flipping his drumsticks. And I said, well, thank you. You just told me what I need to do. And I walked out. And I went to the guitars. And then he walked over to me. He's like, what, man? What what did I do?
What just happened?
I'm like, well, I'm going to tell you. I was debating in my mind if I am old enough to learn to play the guitar.
If I'm not too old.
If I'm not too old to...
Not old enough.
Yeah, if I'm not too old to learn to play the guitar. And then you just showed me that at the age of 65, you learned to play the drums at 55. And so you just cleared the reality, or cleared my belief system out of the way that I can learn to do that, because I've there's not too many things in this world I'm not good at.
Yeah.
And here I was trying to make a decision between the drums and the guitar. And then you just tell me your life story in a matter of 10 seconds and make a decision for me. So you could have quit playing the drums, 2 minutes ago, and because I already made my mind up.
Yeah.
And so I walk out of the door and I go to the guitar place, and then I'm debating on which guitar, and because there's so many different ones nowadays.
Yeah.
There's the Les Pauls and the Ibanez's and the Yamahas and the Gibsons. They're electric versus acoustic, and then there's what do they call them? Classical acoustics.
Dual.
Yeah, there's classical acoustics. There's 12-string. There's all these things.
Right.
And so it took me a minute to figure out. I just know I wanted a classic electric guitar with an amp, but I wanted a good one. I don't want one that's gonna, need to be adjusted all the time.
Yeah.
And so the guy behind the counter, was telling me, which he's like 20 something. It was like, oh yeah, this is a good one if you want to play it. And then he starts naming off the nowadays bands or whatever. And I'm like, bro, I don't even know who that is. I have no idea who you're talking about. I mean, I'm looking at, I'm looking at some Def Leppard, some Poison,
right.
And he's like, oh yeah, I can play those too. But I'm like, but who are you talking about? Anyway, so we went through, and I finally chose this very beautiful Ibanez.
It is beautiful.
And it's a blue tiger print.
Yeah.
And I got a black star amp. And it's good stuff. And it sounds really well. Really good.
And you're doing a phenomenal job.
I think I am.
Yeah.
I think I'm doing pretty good for 3 days or 4 days, whatever it's been.
Progressing very rapidly.
Yeah. Ain't no sunshine when she's gone.
Well, maybe we'll do singing lessons next.
Hey, I can auto-tune on this. I can auto-tune on that, too. On the Black Star. I can actually turn the auto-tune and make myself sound good.
Okay.
Anyway, so I overcame my fears within it because I had an example in front of me, and I thank Spirit for that.
Yeah.
The part of it that I didn't understand is, where did societal teach me that I'm too old to face my fears and do something I've always wanted to do? And so that's now we can go back.
So 2 things. One, that was a very perfect story and a very good example of when you are open and you are receptive, Spirit always has your back and will always put in place the things that you need to hear to guide you in the direction that will bring you the most joy, excitement, fulfillment. If you're ready to go in that direction and don't have any resistance. And so you were ready to hear what you needed to hear to be able to clear that belief out of the way. And that message was brought to you through the little drummer man.
Yeah.
And so that's a perfect example of how higher self information, as we've talked about in other podcasts, is able to come through when you're open and receptive to letting the information come in any form, not insisting that it has to come in a certain form. Yeah. So I want to bring that to light.
Okay.
Because we've talked about in other podcasts being open, that it doesn't have to come through the mind or your own ears. It can come from other people.
Agreed.
Now, we'll get back to the topic at hand of how do we get programmed societally in a situation like that where age defines so many things in our belief systems, because it does.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, age, and we work with the elderly.
Yes.
But we don't treat them that way.
Correct.
They come in here thinking they can't do things. And we come in here saying, oh, yes, you can.
And you're going to do them.
And we ain't doing them for you.
No, we're going to do
You are
them for you.
not handicapped. You're not crippled. You are not fragile, frail. You raised kids.
We ain't falling for that stinky diaper no more.
We ain't falling for that. Anyway, so how does it happen? Because like in your path, and we'll use you for an example, your great-grandmother played the upright bass, and your grandmother.
Yeah, my dad's mother.
Until she was
100 years old.
100 plus.
Yeah, 100 plus.
And was out grooving and cruising and doing.
So
where
playing
did
the
you?
bass the day she died.
So where did you pick that up along the way?
What do you mean? You mean that belief?
The belief.
I don't know. I think kind of, well, let me back up. I do think that part of that, I believe, is in societal lifestyles. She had a completely different lifestyle than I did. She lived a different life. And so I think in the back of your mind, you get taught, oh, well, that which society teaches us, there's generations. Well, that generation was much different than our generation. And so I think that's where maybe some of that belief came in.
And then you come along and you watch your parents.
Mm-hmm. My dad still plays.
But you watch your mom.
Mm-hmm.
And she's not quite as
active,
I
would agree,
in her life as she gets older. Like
Correct.
she lets age dictate
right.
her health.
And my dad just the opposite.
Her
I think,
physical.
At least he didn't a few years ago when we saw him last, and he didn't let age really dictate his life. He did what he wanted to do.
Yeah. But then we also watch others that are classified as, geriatric, elderly,
Mm-hmm.
as they age, and we watch them limit themselves. And then we watch TV shows where they show that the elderly people are in wheelchairs with lap blankets, not doing anything.
Yeah.
Or if they are, they're getting in trouble by their children. Mom, you're too old. You don't need to be doing that. We watch it on TV.
Oh, yeah, we see it every day too.
TV shows.
Yeah.
Right. But I'm just saying, as a general whole, if you're not working with the aging population,
Right.
where are people getting the programming? And I'm just giving you different examples of where it will come from. It comes from the people that you were raised with and around,
Mm-hmm.
watching them,
Agreed.
and you're making decisions on, okay, well, I guess when I get 40, I won't be able to do that either. And you come to terms with it.
Yeah.
So you log that as part of your definition. Okay, well, my aunt, for example, was using a walker by the time she was 57 because her back got old.
Because she was fat.
Because her back got old.
Okay.
I mean, when you're a kid, you don't know any of that. You just see it as she's hunched over now using a walker, and she looks old to you at 57, because when you're in your teens or even younger, that looks old to you.
It does. I remember when I was 14, I remember thinking my dad turned 40, and I was like, God,
Dang.
that's old.
Dang, he's old.
40 years old. That's old.
Right. And you go galloping up on 40 and you're like, whoa, this is not old.
No,
What
it's
was
not
I
old
thinking?
at all. It's crazy.
Pump the brakes, Batman.
Sorry, Dad. I made fun of you so much.
And so you begin to kind of create definitions of what old looks like and the things that you won't be able to do based on what you witness going on around you with your family, with acquaintances, with just the general population. Oh, that person looks old and they're doing this. So I guess when I get to be that age, I just need to embrace the fact that when I get that age, that's what I'm going to look like.
I football officiated for many years, and some of the guys that I would officiate with were a little older than me.
Yeah.
And I don't remember how many times I heard them say, God, I'm just getting old, Johnny. Just like they were getting old, like they're moving hard because they had a hard time getting up and down the football field.
Yeah.
And here I am flying up down the sidelines like I'm in my teens.
Yeah.
And they were battling to move 30 yards without hurting.
Right.
And they were just a little bit older than me.
Right.
And so
it just all has to do with the definitions and the beliefs that people put in place as they go through their reality and they see older people behaving and functioning. They just make this mental kind of like definition of, okay, well, I guess that's how we act when we get to that age.
Yeah.
And they just kind of make a general definition and plug it in. And then when they get to that age, if you're not consciously aware of the concept of being okay or being able to erase a definition and put a new one in place, then you'll go ahead and age at that same level.
Yeah.
Based on whatever you've picked up along the way from movies, from watching your family, from watching friends, strangers. It comes from all different places. And it just, you just start creating definitions and expectations that when you get to be that age, I guess I'm going to just act that way. So,
I was actually embarrassed of myself for being caught up in that thought process for a little while because I've always, I'm not that guy that lives within the mold. Never have been.
Yeah.
I've always been the one that bucks up against authority. I've always been that one that cuts my own path. Yeah. And when I was in that music store and you made your decision, you disappeared. I have no idea where you were. Next thing I know, you were up there checking out with the cello. That's all I knew.
Hey man, I knew what I wanted. I went in there.
And that's the way I've always been. Matter of fact, I think I taught you some of that.
Yeah, you did.
Because I've always just did what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
And
I will say that is probably one of the biggest things that I have learned from you over the years is that, you know what? It's okay to make a decision for yourself and then just go do it. Yeah. If anybody's bothered or offended by it, it's their problem, not yours.
It's on them.
And it feels really, really good. And it feels very freeing to be able to just walk in somewhere or make a decision that I'm going to go do something and not sit there and get wrapped up in the them.
In the details.
And the them.
Right. No, I totally
Who is this
agree.
going to bother? Who is this going to make mad? What is it going to look like?
What are people going to think of me?
What are people going to think of me? It's very freeing not to get jammed up with that.
It is. I agree. And that's where I was kind of embarrassed in the music store because here I am, this guy that's normally like, oh, I'm gung-ho. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. I'm going to do this. And then I was standing there twiddling my thumbs like, and you even said to me, what are you doing?
I did. I said, are you having problems?
Yeah. I'm like,
what's the matter? You need some help?
And then I was like, I was just playing it off because I was like walking around,
Yeah, he was. He was just wandering around aimlessly in the store. And I'm like, okay, what's the matter? You need some help? What's going on?
You even asked me, or you said something about money or something. You asked me, do you not want to do this right now or something? And it had nothing to do with money. It had nothing to do with money. It was all about...
Yeah, I was just trying to figure out where you were at and what the hesitation was.
And then every time I go to talk, that dude would walk up behind us. And so I was like, I'm not going to talk about it with him. Really, I don't feel like counseling with him.
But in the end, you ended up counseling with him anyway.
I did. You're right. Yeah. But I was kind of really embarrassed by the whole scenario because I've always been that willy-nilly guy that kind of flies by the seat of my pants. And here I am in a music store. We're talking about learning a musical instrument. It's something that makes you a more well-rounded human and cultured. And I was hesitating to do it. And so it was like, it was a good spiritual moment for me.
Yeah.
To stop and really get through those. Because I sat down on that chair, on that couch, and was just like, okay, what am I doing? What's going on here? This guy just got in there and bang on these drums like he's a 12-year, the drummer for Metallica. Yeah. And I'm over here hesitating if I do, oh my God, I'm scared. I'm going to play the guitar and fail. Because my fingers don't work because I'm 51.
Good Lord, people, get the shovel. We got to start digging the hole.
I was like, anyway, so I was embarrassed by it. And I told the guitar guy, I'm like, you realize that I just sit here and debated on learning the drums or the guitar when I really want to learn to play the guitar. I mean, don't get me wrong. I want to learn to play both, and I will. And I was like, but because I thought, well, maybe I'm just too old to learn to have the motor skills still to do this. And the dude actually looked at me and laughed. I was like, he literally looked me dead in the face and just, with one of those evil laughs too. It was like, made me feel like I was Tiny Tim. But anyway, so we got through it. But going back to the lady, I was like, you realize that you're holding your own self back because you were taught that you can't do it. Not that because this woman is very very healthy, active.
Yeah.
She's like, I want to say she's like 79 or 80.
Right.
And she's not old. I mean, she's not old acting at all. And she's retired. She has all the time in the world.
Yeah. That's the thing.
She could learn to play anything she wants. She could do anything she wants. And when we walked away from it, she goes, my son would just think would make fun of me. And, her 60-something-year-old son. Come on, really? And so I was like, oh, what are you scared of?
Yeah. So here's the rabbit hole concept.
Okay.
Because sometimes what happens, like with that example, she has told herself a story that her son will make fun of her.
Right.
And that is a story that she has created. She doesn't know for a fact that he will make fun of her. Right. She has just created the story in her head that he will make fun of her. But I guarantee you, I almost 100% guarantee you that if she were to go have a conversation with her son, she would find out that story is nothing but a big fat lie.
Right. Oh, no, I totally agree. It may be something happened a long time ago or something where he did make fun of her because she tried something and failed, but maybe she did, come up to that belief. And I actually told her, well, get an instrument, go get lessons, and don't tell nobody. He don't have to know. Right. Until you get good and then show him.
Because sometimes we create stories
totally
about them that's outside of us.
Yeah, the monkey mind does. I agree.
That is nothing but a big fat lie.
I agree.
They think this about us, but it's our story that we created.
Agreed.
It's nothing at all what they were thinking. And this has happened even with you and I.
Yeah.
When we've gone through different trials and different experiences, I'll say to you, well, I thought you were thinking this about me or about whatever I was doing. And you just give me that same evil laugh that you got at the store because you're like, that is the farthest thing from what I was thinking. Was even what I was thinking. And so I had created this whole story, this whole scenario in my head. I don't even remember what the most recent example was. Quite a bit with us. But I had created a whole story about what I thought you thought about me or whatever I was doing that was keeping me from doing it.
Right.
And it was nothing but just a big fat lie that I had created in my head.
Yeah, I totally agree.
And so that's the rabbit hole part of it is when you think that you're doing something or not doing something because you have this idea that other people will judge you, check to see if it's not a story that you're creating that is nothing but just a lie.
Totally agree.
To keep you from doing something.
Yeah, I totally agree. It's I think another side of that when we come across these trials, or these, not really trials, more of these monkey mind stories that get created about something that we're going to do, because
I think it's okay to call it a trial. I mean, this is kind of just like the big game of life.
Yeah. Okay.
And when you're playing you're playing level 1, you have trials.
I agree. Well, you probably have trials at every level.
And then you go to level 2 and you have more trials. But the minute that you start to view them as
negative.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
Not fun experiences instead of, I'm going to try, like when you play your game.
Yeah.
the trial is you don't know the map yet. You don't have the right weapons yet. And yeah, it's frustrating, but you keep playing until you know the map and you can beat and conquer that and you get the weapon and the armor.
Yes.
It's the same kind of thing. It's the same concept.
No, I totally agree with you. And so, the guitar guy,
Yeah.
after he laughed at me, we were talking. He said, "So what made you decide to go guitar? What made you convince yourself that you could play the guitar?"
Yeah.
I said, I didn't have to convince myself I could play the guitar. I had to relieve myself of the fears of learning to play the guitar.
Ooh. Okay, say it differently.
I had to relieve myself of the fears behind learning to play the guitar.
And so what do you think was causing the fear?
Well, it's can I actually do it? Can I physically do it? Can I mentally do it? Do I have the rhythm? I mean,
and that was because you had definitions that at your age, it was possible that you had lost
right
the bendability or the motor skills.
The flexibility, the motor skills, or the intellect.
I see.
And we're actually taught that. Well, do everything while you're young.
Yeah, you're right. That's one of those that gets programming that gets put in place.
And so I told him I had to convince myself, or I had to relieve myself of the fears.
Don't ever get old. It's hell.
I know, right?
Like, I can't tell you how many times my grandparents
I heard that
told me
today.
that. Yeah.
I heard that today from one of our people.
Yeah.
But anyway, so I told him I had to relieve myself of the fears of learning to play the guitar at my age. And I said, then I had to relieve myself of my age.
And then you had to go to the bathroom and relieve yourself?
Yeah, a little bit. Or some dribbled.
I had to get it out.
Maybe I dribbled. I don't know.
That's all I could think of. Had to get it out.
And so he was like, "Oh, well, that's cool, man." He's like, "So you're going to get some lessons and everything?" I said, "Yep." He said, well, "Okay, if you get lessons, go home and YouTube and learn at least 7 to 9 chords before you pay for a lesson."
Yeah.
I said, "Why?" He said, "Because otherwise you're going to waste 4 or 5 months of your lessons learning to play these chords.
Right.
When you can learn it from YouTube in 2 or 3 days."
Yeah.
And I said 2 or 3 days, and I've started to say, "You mean even at my age?"
Right.
And he said, and he beat me to it. He said, "Don't even say that. Yes, you can learn it in a couple of days. It's not hard. The chords of a guitar are not hard." And I was like, okay, bet. And so relieving myself of the fears and giving myself the permission to not worry about what other people think, or not worry about what I think of myself, what my human story has created.
Especially not based on some number.
Right. Because I don't feel any different than I did when I was 20.
Right. Because if it wasn't based on thoughts, definitions, and beliefs, then everyone, when they turned 59, would automatically, robotically go into this place of not being able to do XYZ.
I am not 59.
I'm just using that.
Did you see my eyes get big when you said that?
I did. And he says that rightfully so, because I don't really keep up with how old we are. I have to usually ask him how old I am.
51 and you're 9 months older than me.
I didn't say 59 because I was accusing you of being 59. I was just using that number as just the number I pulled out.
It's, you're
because there are 59-year-old people all across the globe that are doing all levels of any and everything. Rock climbing,
Totally agree.
Skydiving.
What about that guy up in the Villages that's 91 years old and just set the record for push-ups by somebody over 55?
Exactly.
The man did 1,390 push-ups.
That is metaphysical at its finest.
Totally.
That is metaphysician. That's metaphysical at its finest. And here's why. Because the metaphysicians give the scientists things to research.
Right.
And if age actually impacted what we were able to do separate and apart from beliefs, patterns, and programs, like I said, the minute you turn a specific age,
everything would change.
Everything would change, but it would change across the board for every single person.
Right. Well, no, they say your genes, remember? So apparently what store you shop at.
I I haven't worn jeans in a minute.
I know, right? We work around prime examples of this.
Yeah.
We have one lady that's about to turn 99 next week.
Yeah.
Or this weekend, actually.
Yep, Saturday.
We have one lady that's 97,
And
January
she still
5th.
The 99-year-old still walks 5 miles a day.
Does not use the elevator.
And does not use the elevator.
And she acts like she's, way younger. And I actually asked her one time.
She looks like, she doesn't look.
I know. They did a spot on her in the news, remember?
That's right. She doesn't look 99 at all.
And we have a couple of them here that are like that. We have a 97-year-old and 99-year-old, and they both. I asked the 99-year-old.
Would you chop some wood already and get rid of that axe?
Yeah. I asked the 99-year-old one day last year. I said, "What do you contribute to you being so spry and energetic for your age?" And then she said, "I am never turning old. Never turning old."
That's right.
And I was like, okay, that makes sense. And the crazy part is I asked the 97-year-old before she moved in, what do you attribute to you being 97 and still so with it and active? And she said, "I am not turning old." She said the exact same thing the other one said.
That's right.
Tell me there's not a collective consciousness. Anyway.
But it all has to do with how you're going to define the different words of the language.
Right.
What definition are you going to put to them? Mm-hmm. Are you going to just accept what somebody else has defined it as and just roll with that? Or are you going to blaze a new trail and rewrite your definitions?
Totally agree. And that's
they can be anything. That's
really what this podcast started out as is living.
That's right.
Don't care what age you are, live. We're here for experiences.
Yeah.
We're here to have fun. We're here to try things and do things and be things, and it's never too late. Everybody, that's one of the
never too late.
It's never too late to go do anything.
Yeah. We're 51.
Yep.
At 51, we're learning a new instrument.
Yep. We learned to scuba dive at 49. Actually.
49.
Yeah.
I finished my doctorate at what age?
50. Yeah, you finished it last year, right?
No, the year before.
Yeah, so you're 49.
49.
Yeah, I'm working on mine.
Got my doctorate at 49. So I'm here to tell you that number does not mean
anything.
No.
Some of the smartest people I know are old.
Some of the smartest people are seasoned.
I was playing.
Old is relative.
I was throwing that out there for you to slam the door joke, but you didn't do it.
I don't know that joke.
Some of the oldest people, some of the smartest people I know are old.
What does that mean?
Well, I was expecting you to say, well.
Oh, were you boning me?
Yeah. You mean ribbon, not boning.
Oh, yeah.
She didn't mean boning.
Oh, you mean.
Boning is an innuendo.
Yeah, you're right. Ribbon. Oh, so you were ribbing at me.
I was ribbing at you, yes.
As if I'm old?
As if you're one of the smartest people I know.
Who's old?
I was calling you old.
Oh, okay, got it.
That joke was a flop.
Where's your button?
Oh.
Keep your day job, man. Keep your day job.
And so, I think the main part of that is realizing that we're never too late. We're never too old. We're not. The only time we're ever too old, or the only time we're too late, is if we believe it.
That's right. I would take those two words out of my language altogether.
Totally.
Too old and too late. I'd throw them in the garbage.
Or not able to.
Yeah, that's another one. Chunk that shit in the trash.
Yeah, like we also have one of our people here that has a son that has Down syndrome.
Yeah.
And he just won national.
Gosh, he wins stuff all the time, man.
He won the National Athlete of the Year for the Special Olympics.
Yeah.
And he works a full-time job, lives on his own.
Yeah.
When he was told all his life that he would never live on his own.
That's right.
And here he is. Here he is. We see
You
him every
create
day.
your own limitations.
That's right. I agree.
Perfectly fine, perfectly young, perfectly healthy individuals can let their mind keep them from doing so many things if you get tangled up in the I can't, I shouldn't, I couldn't, not able to.
I wish I could.
Right. Like toss all that stuff in the garbage and live life.
I mean, how many times do you hear people on their deathbed saying, man, I you hear stories about it. I hear stories about it all the time. I wish I could have done this. I wish I would have done this.
I don't know who you're hanging around, but I don't really hang around
I just
people
heard it
on
from
their
one of our,
deathbed.
I
mean, I kind of hang around people that have already gone off their deathbed.
well, I just heard the same story 2-3 months ago from a guy that's terminal. He said, I wish I'd have done, I don't know how many stories he had told me. I wish I'd have done this different. I wish I would have done this. I wish. And because I asked him, I'm like, well, how do you feel about this? And he just started telling me his regrets. And so don't go through life with regrets.
Yeah.
Don't allow your monkey mind or the perception of what you think other people are going to think to stop you
or
from
for
being
goodness sakes,
the most biggest complete you. The fear, yeah.
Like toss all that away in the garbage.
Become you and be unique. Unique. Speaking of unique, are you ever going to let her finish that tattoo?
Be a eunuch.
A eunuch. And yeah, you know the unicorn farts?
What is a eunuch? I feel like a eunuch is really from a place.
A eunuch? It is.
What was that?
I don't know what that was. What is?
Were you eating your cabbage or your carrot?
Yeah, maybe. We just went down a rabbit hole. So anyway.
Somebody look it up. Where are people from who are eunuchs?
Eunuch. Okay. Yugoslavia?
Maybe. Hey, maybe.
Maybe.
It's a good guess.
Or they call them yogis.
That's Yogi Bear on the cartoon.
No, I think maybe they call them yogis.
I don't think so.
I don't know.
I don't know either.
Well, so I guess I'm kind of feeling complete. Are you complete?
Yeah, I'm good.
Hey,
Good times.
remember, guys, just don't fall for the crap. Be you. Be adventurous. Have fun.
Get out there.
You're
and
never
try.
too old.
Get out there and try some stuff,
yeah,
man.
do something. Live adventurously.
Yeah.
All right, we love you all. Don't forget, hey, like, follow, share, subscribe, and
ring that bell.
And look up our social media. We are at the Merc Centers. At the Merc Centers. ThemercCenters. And that's also our website at themerccenters.org. We love you all. Deuces. Live adventure.
Love you.